Hi sweeties, thank you so much for tuning into this video today. I really do appreciate it. This is something that I've always wanted to do and I finally have the opportunity to do it, so I'm so excited. Yay! But before we get into our fun plant care and tips, I do want to just state that I'm no plant expert at all by any means. I just love learning about plants. So I created this channel to hopefully share my knowledge with you guys and to continue to grow and learn about these gorgeous sweeties. So if you guys are down, let's get to learning. So the sweetie that we will be talking about today is the Monstera Deliciosa. This was actually one of my very first houseplants that I had purchased. I got it at a local grocery store. I thought it was so cute. I didn't know the name of it. I didn't know the plant care of it. I just bought it because it was cute. So then I took it home, and then I want to say maybe 2 or 3 days later, I saw these like little bug things flying around, and I was like, what the heck is going on? I hate bugs, number one. So I was like, what? I was freaking out. So I didn't have any food in my room. I took the trash out. Like, I didn't get what was going on. So I did a little bit of research online, watched YouTube videos, figured out that my plant was so overwatered, which that was causing the gnats to come in. So that was just a hot mess. So I would say maybe 2 or 3 months later, I got everything cleared out. I repotted it. So it was definitely a learning process. So that's why I chose this sweetie to talk about today, because over that time, I feel like I learned a lot about the plant and the care of the plant. So hopefully I can share my knowledge today with you so you don't have to deal with what I had to deal with, because it was not fun. So this is a sweetie that I had purchased from the grocery store. I've actually gotten 3 new leaves since I brought it back to life pretty much. I love it so much. It's so rewarding that I was able to make this sweetie happy again. This is the newest leaf I have coming, but I love it so much. I love the pot it's in. I think it's so cute. I'm definitely wanting to add in a moss pole fairly shortly, but this is what it looks like for right now. As you could probably see, they do have holes, so that is why they're called a Swiss cheese plant. So don't be alarmed if you're like, why is my plant growing with holes? It's completely normal. Another kind of like odd thing, I guess you would say, is when you look at this plant is the aerial roots on them. I have 2 growing right now, one right here, and then one kind of wrapping around this side. These are not necessary in the home. They're for in the wild when they're on the forest floor, so they can like travel up things, plants, walls, climb, all that fun stuff. So it's not necessary. I will be repotting fairly shortly this sweetie, and I will definitely be cutting these off, so you don't need them, but pretty cool. Pretty cool to look at. So don't be alarmed if you're like, oh, something's wrong with my soil, they're growing out. Like, no, it's completely normal. When it comes to taking care of your sweeties, there's 2 like major things that you need to keep in your mind is the light and the watering. Watering is every 1 to 2 weeks. It just kind of honestly depends on how much light your plant is getting. In my previous apartment, I was watering every 2 weeks because I was getting good light, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't anything crazy. But now at my new place, my lighting is off the chain, like amazing lighting, but it's like right when the sun comes up in the morning to the sun sets, it's like light. So I'm having to water every week now instead of every 2 weeks. So just keep that in mind, because the lighting that you receive definitely affects how much water it needs. I have about like 2 ways that I personally figure out if my plants need watering or not. I would say the easiest way is honestly just picking up the plant. So by picking this up right now, I've had this plant for more than half a year, I would say. I don't know, but I know the weight of it. So when it's wet, I know. When it's thirsty, I know. So I would say I'd probably check back in like another 2 days, and then it might need a watering, but it's okay for right now. Another trick as well is getting a wooden chopstick and placing it about like 2 to 3 inches into the soil. So when you pull out the chopstick, if it's wet soil and it's like covered a lot in like that wet soil, then it's okay, like let it be. But if you put it in and you pull it the chopstick out and it's dry and it has like little soil and nothing too crazy, then it's probably time for a watering. But I just stress to people, do not overwater because it just brings in so much things that you don't need. It's kind of like when you're cooking and you're like, okay, you can always add more, but you can't take away that salt, you know? So just be cautious because it can bring on like gnats, fungus, bacteria, all these things that you do not want. Monsteras thrive in bright and direct lighting. They are a very tolerant plant, so they will do good in other ones, but obviously don't put it in a dark room. And also be wary when you put it in a very bright location. I know aesthetic can come into plants when you're like, oh, it looks so good in this corner, I want to put it over there. Try it out, see if the sweetie likes it or not. It will tell you if they're mad or if they're happy. So just be aware that they really like bright and direct light. Monsteras are a tropical plant, so they do well in a humid environment. Right now I do not have a humidifier in my room and my sweeties are doing great. So I know some people don't want to spend a lot of money on humidifiers and they don't have the money to, so I totally understand. So I'm telling you, it's not necessary. You do not need it. I actually did have a humidifier in my apartment with my Monsteras, and they did great. I wouldn't say like it was so drastic where I'd be like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna do it again. So don't let it be like, oh, I have a Monstera, I need to get a humidifier. That's not the case. My sweeties are doing great, but if things change and I notice over time, I will purchase one, but don't let that be like, oh, I have to get one, because you really don't need to. The care and tips today maybe refresh your memory or you learn something new. That'd be awesome. I love Monsteras so much. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. I want to buy another one, but I'm like limited to my room, so I'm like, okay, where should I put it, or you know, because they grow huge. That's why I think it's such a good plant to invest in, because if you continue to repot them and let them grow bigger and bigger and bigger, they can grow insane. So it's so cool to watch and to know that like, oh yeah, I helped you do that. It's such a rewarding thing. So I love them, and you guys should love them too because they're so cool.